Hi, today I want to talk about why you're sick. So if you've ever stayed up late at night and thought, why am I sick? Why am I not healing? Why am I actually sick? What is the reason that I have this pain, this illness, this fatigue, these symptoms, this disease? Why am I sick? Right? It's important to realize that just asking that question alone is one of the most important things that you can do for your healing and yourself. Why am I sick? And if you've never considered that question before, asking yourself that question, it is one of the most important places to start. You ask yourself that question before you fall asleep at night. You ask yourself that question before meditating. You ask yourself that question before going on a walk. You ask yourself that question before journaling. You ask yourself that question before tapping. You ask yourself that question before doing anything. Anything. Even any protocol, any healing protocol, anything that you're doing, any kind of bodywork session, any kind of a therapy session, any kind of a functional medicine physical healing session, ask yourself, why am I sick? Because nobody knows more than you do. And that's the thing that I've learned out of all this. Nobody knows why you're sick, right? The doctors will run blood panels, the functional medicine doctors will run different kinds of stool tests and gut tests and all kinds of tests. There's so much testing between medical conventional doctor and naturopathic doctors and functional medicine doctors. Then there's all kinds of body work, there's all kinds of therapy, there's all kinds of interpretation as to why you're sick. But nobody knows better than you. So it's really important that you ask yourself the question, why am I sick? And when you listen, when you're trying to answer the question, you want to ask like from an intuitive level, from an emotional level. What emotions are keeping me sick? What feelings are keeping me sick? What is happening in my life that's keeping me sick? What in my routines is keeping me sick? What about my daily day-to-day living is keeping me sick? What about my relationships that are keeping me sick? What about my family that's keeping me sick? What about my past traumas that are keeping me sick? What about my stories that are keeping me sick? What about the way I interpret the world? My lens through which I see the world is keeping me sick, right? What about my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions are keeping me sick? Why am I sick? And so you want to address all of those when you're journaling, meditating, before any kind of body session or healing therapy of any kind. Because what you're trying to get to is the root of the dysfunction within yourself, the dysregulation between your authentic self, the person that you are, your values, who you are, what you believe, and the life that you're actually living, the things that you're actually saying and doing. These two things are incongruent with each other. And when the person that you want to be and the person that you are is so incongruent with who you're actually putting out there to the world and who you are, what you're actually saying, doing, living, your daily tasks, everything, when it's so incongruent to who you are and what you actually want, that's when you have illness. That's when you have suffering. That's when you have pain. That's when you have symptoms, because your body's now trying to get your attention and say, hey, this isn't what we want. This isn't what we signed up for. We don't want to be a mom. We don't want to be with this person. We don't want to live in this place. We don't want to be doing this job. We don't want to be doing all these tasks every day, or my to-do list, or the laundry, or the house cleaning. Like, that's not what we came here for this earth for. We want joy. We want adventure. We want this. We want that. And when the things that we're actually living are incongruent with the things that we actually want, the things that we yearn for, the things that we dream about, the things that we are our true, authentic self, right? What we believe and what we're saying, right? We have to be living in congruency with who we are and who we want to be, rather than just surviving and doing things that we actually don't want to do. And there may be weights on you and responsibilities and situations and things that are beyond your control, and I get it. But it's important that we discover this and we journal about it and we ask ourselves the question, why am I sick? Why am I sick? And we really try to find the root cause and the root incongruency to what we want and what we're actually living, the life we and who we want to be and who we believe that we are in our essence, and who we're actually, what our day looks like and who we're actually portraying ourselves to the world. And if the incongruency is too big, we need to discover that. We need to write it down. We need to face it. We may need to change it. We may not need to change it. We may need to go in a different direction with our life. We may need to leave a relationship. We may need to change a job, or we may just need to acknowledge that we don't like our job and work towards something better. We may need to acknowledge that we're not happy in our relationship and work to make it better and to communicate and to get that initial spark that you have with that person back. And so it doesn't always mean moving away or ending a relationship or quitting a job. It might mean redefining it in some way that's congruent with who you are. Redefining your role as parent, redefining your role as mother, redefining your role as wife, as partner, redefining your relationship together, redefining your job, redefining what you want. Some of your hobbies, your creative outlets, doing something different. Maybe you're stuck inside working. It's not that you need to quit your job. Maybe you're inside and the thing is that you just want to be outside more. So maybe you take more of your leisure time to be outside and to be walking. And so it's not all about running away and quitting and abandoning the things that are in our life, because they're also there for a reason and they're teaching us something. And we initially grabbed them because we wanted them. So when they're making us sick now, when they're not congruent to what we want, it just means they need to evolve to catch up to us. It means we need to evolve them to be at peace with them, to be happy, or to even just acknowledge that everything's not perfect or this is not exactly what I want. That can be enough. Like, you may say, I hate my job, I hate it and I want to quit, but I have so much responsibilities and I love my children so much and I don't want them to do without that. I'm not going to quit it. And that may be enough to get you to enjoy it again, or to go there and feel a sense of purpose going there. And it's now fueling your purpose again, instead of sucking your life from you, instead of draining you, instead of being a burden to you. So it's really important that we always look inside. We ask ourselves why we're sick, and we dig deep. We dig around it. We let our mind sort of wander, and nothing is too big or too small to jot down, to write down, because there's meanings underneath everything. You may just say, I can't stay on my life because all I'm doing is dishes and laundry all day, and it's just driving me bananas. And it might seem like such a silly thing, because of course everybody does laundry and dishes and just part of life. But the writing of it down as to why I'm sick, and just the fact that you hate doing that, calls you into the fact that maybe there's more laundry and dishes than there is joy. And what you need to be doing is creating more enjoyment, more. Can you do those things with a partner? Can you listen to your favorite podcast or a movie or music while you're doing them? Can you find ways to increase joy, right? Increase the pleasure and decrease the pain. So we want to acknowledge what's really happening with illness and with chronic illness and with degenerative illness and with disease and pain and suffering. It's just that we're not living in congruency to who we want to be, to who we are inside, to our dream life. Looks nothing like the life that we're actually living. And we need to acknowledge it. We need to change it. We need to evolve it. We need to fix it. And we need to start doing more of what we want and less of what we don't want. Doing more things that bring us joy and less things that bring us pain. More things that pique our interest and less things that bore us. More things that make us feel love and less things that make us feel stress, right? So I hope this video has been helpful, and I hope that you know that you can heal yourself by looking inward first. Yes, there might be other things that you need to do physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or otherwise, to help your body heal. But it always starts with looking at yourself. Why am I sick? Why am I sick? Why is this happening to me? And take responsibility for the answers that come up. And do your best to change, evolve, come to peace with the answers that you get. And that will change your illness. That will change your being. That will change your state. That will put you in alignment with healing instead of in alignment with suffering and disease. I hope this video has been helpful.